Nights at the market begin with smoke. It snakes up from the grill as soon as I fan the charcoal, carrying the promise of caramelized edges and sweet chili glaze. The bulbs above my stall flicker, buzzing like tired bees. I know which ones are going to die soon because they always grow shy before they go. The air is thick with the perfume of frying oil, lemongrass, and rain that has not yet fallen. Voices tangle everywhere. Laughter in clusters. A child tugging at a sleeve. Music leaking from a speaker 3 stalls down. A love song warped by static. I set skewers of sauté down in neat rows, lay banana leaves over the cooler, and keep count without looking. 15 chicken. 10 beef. 6 tofu. My mother used to say a good vendor knows the rhythm better than the recipe. Tonight my rhythm is quick and hopeful. Rent is due in 5 days. Hope helps the math. Customers arrive in small waves. Office workers loosen their ties and hold paper trays like trophies. Teenagers stretch their cash into shared snacks and selfies. Regulars nod at me with a familiarity that calms the anxious part of my brain. I talk and cook and catch coins and make change without looking, and every now and then I glance up the aisle to the street, where cars slide by like patient fish. That is where I see him. He stands at the edge of the market as if he has not yet decided whether to enter. A suit under the streetlight is a strange kind of armor. His is dark and clean, cut like it was made to fit only him. He holds no umbrella, yet the moisture beating on the air does not touch his shoulders. He watches everything without staring at anything. People part for him without meaning to. He steps into the aisle. He does not hurry. He does not check his phone. He stops in front of my stall as if he has been walking to it his entire life and only just realized it. Good evening, I say, already reaching for a tray. What can I get you? He considers the grill with a care that sends heat into my face. What do you recommend? He asks. I have a list ready for that question. People like a confident answer. The chicken sauté with tamarind glaze, the fried tempeh with chili salt, and the little buns with coconut filling. If you are brave, the green chili sambal. It is not polite. He laughs. I want to be impolite. All of that, please. I nod and start moving. The rhythm settles me again. Flip, baste, fan, plate. The smoke kisses my hair, and I know I will smell like this until morning. He watches with a curiosity that is not evaluative. The opposite. Like watching makes him lighter. You are not from this part of the city, I say, sliding the tray to him. What gave me away? He asks, amused. Those shoes, I say. And the way you are listening. People who live here have already learned to hear only what belongs to them. He takes a bite of the sauté and closes his eyes, just for a second. The sound he makes is quiet but honest. I feel a ridiculous pinch of pride. How long have you run this stall? He asks. Long enough to know when the rain is lying, I say, and tilt my chin toward the sky. It threatens every night around this time and then remembers we have not earned it yet. He looks up too, and for a moment we both just stand there, two strangers under a bruised sky, pretending we understand what it wants. When he looks back at me, the corner of his mouth is soft. I am Adrian, he says. I am Mira, I say. He pays with bills that feel too crisp for this world, then pushes the change back gently. For the queue behind me, he says. Not for you. For them. Something in me bristles and then cools. For once, the gesture is not a weight. I nod. Thank you. He takes his tray to the side table and eats slowly, as if the only lesson in the world tonight is patience. The queue thickens. I do not watch him, and I do not stop watching him. When I finally glance up, he is gone, leaving an empty tray and a small folded napkin with neat handwriting on it. Very good. I will come back. I should not care. This market is built on people promising to return. Dawn takes half those promises with it. I pocket the napkin anyway, as if it might keep until morning. He does come back. Not the next night, but the night after, walking in with the same quiet posture and less of the city clinging to him. He orders the same and something new. He asks if my grill is named and laughs when I tell him yes, it is called stubborn. I ask him what he does, and he answers with words that have edges. Investments. Projects. He returns the question, and I say I do heat and hunger. He considers this as if it is the best job in the world. He comes back again. He arrives with 2 friends who are easy in the way of people who have never worried about being turned away. They stand a step behind him and let him choose. They call him boss without using the word. He introduces me with the kind of care that makes his friends look twice at me as if I have shifted into a new category while they were not paying attention. One of them says your stall smells better than the hotel kitchen. The other asks for extra sambal, then hands it back with watering eyes and a wounded pride. Adrian laughs, head thrown back, and the sound tucks itself into my chest without asking permission. Later, he lingers while I restock skewers. I have a charity event tomorrow, he says, light as nothing, heavy as everything. Come. As my guest. I blink. I am not a guest kind of person. You are my kind of person, he says, then softens it. There will be food. Music. You would enjoy it. Let me send a car. A car is a sentence that can mean trouble. I am about to say no when a sudden gust teases the tarp above our heads and the first real drops begin to fall. The market flinches and then adapts. Plastic covers. Quick hands. Someone barks with joy. Someone curses softly. I look at Adrian and he is smiling at the weather as if it has done him a personal favor by finally arriving. I cannot leave my stall alone, I say. Bring someone you trust to cover, he says. I will not accept no tonight. You are used to getting what you want, I say lightly. I am learning to want the right things, he says more quietly. The rain decides to believe in itself. It comes hard and sudden, pattering the tarps, the road, the shoulders of people who forgot their umbrellas. Customers scatter inward. The aisle glows with reflected light. I pull the grill back and shield the flame with my body. Adrian steps beside me and lifts a corner of the tarp, holding it high so the water runs off clean and my fire does not die. He should look ridiculous. He looks at home. You have never done this before, I say. He grins. First time carrying a roof. I like it. We stand shoulder to shoulder in the rain. Smoke and steam and something warm enough to be dangerous rise around us. His sleeve brushes mine, and my pulse answers like it has been waiting for a summons. The storm already loves you, I say, and hear how it sounds when it leaves my mouth. He turns his head. The moment narrows to the space between us. When he speaks, his voice is lower. Let me send the car tomorrow. Let me show you my world, just once, on your terms. A shape appears at the edge of the awning. A woman in a pale dress stands just beyond the rain line, hair perfect despite the weather, eyes like polished ice. She looks at Adrian like she has been looking for him, and at me like I am something she stepped around without noticing. Adrian's grip tightens on the tarp's edge. Mira, he says, and there is something like apology in my name. This is Vanessa. The woman smiles without warmth. So this is the stall he could not stop talking about. The rain hammers harder, and the flame under my grill wavers. The rain didn't stop for another hour, but Vanessa didn't stay that long. She exchanged a few polite but cutting remarks before stepping back into the night, the downpour somehow bending around her. Adrian's eyes followed her as she left, and though his jaw was tight, there was no mistaking that something unspoken had just happened between them, something I wasn't meant to understand yet. When the last of the smoke curled into the wet air, I packed up in silence. Adrian lingered, offering to help me fold the tarp, but I waved him off. My mind was too busy turning over every glance, every word that had passed between him and Vanessa. He didn't come the next night, or the night after that. By the third evening, I told myself I didn't care. But when I saw him appear at the far end of the aisle, hands in his pockets, strolling like the market was his second home, my pulse betrayed me. "You were gone," I said as he approached. "I had business," he replied, and for a second his eyes softened. "But I missed this." "This," I echoed. "You," he said simply. I told myself not to read too much into it, but the way he leaned on the counter, like we'd known each other for years, made that impossible. He ordered the same sauté and tempeh as before, but this time he stayed until the very end of my shift. We talked about everything and nothing: his travels, the strange customers I'd met, the old man who sold fried bananas 2 stalls down and claimed to have a secret recipe blessed by monks. The night wore on, and with it, the market began to empty. A thin mist hung in the air, the kind that makes the neon signs blur like watercolor. I caught him watching me more than once, his gaze steady but unreadable. "You're quiet tonight," I said, stacking trays. "I'm thinking," he replied, "about the car I promised to send for you." "I told you that you couldn't leave the stall," he finished. "But I saw your friend helping last week. She could run things for one evening." I hesitated. The idea of stepping into his world felt risky, like putting one foot on a bridge without knowing if the other side was even there. As if sensing my reluctance, he leaned closer. "No pressure. Just think about it." Before I could answer, a sudden shout broke through the hum of the market. A man in a rain-soaked hoodie staggered past, bumping into my stall so hard one of my trays clattered to the ground. I bent to pick it up, but before I could, Adrian stepped forward, his hand on the man's shoulder, his voice calm but firm. "You okay, friend?" The man muttered something and hurried off, disappearing into the shadows. Adrian watched him go, his expression unreadable again. "You didn't have to do that," I said quietly. "Maybe not," he admitted, "but I'm used to stepping in when something doesn't look right." Something about the way he said it made me think of Vanessa again, and of how much I didn't know about this man who kept showing up at my stall like it was the only place in the city worth visiting. He paid in cash, crisp bills once again, and as he handed them over, his fingers brushed mine. Just a second, just enough to send a strange warmth through me. "See you tomorrow?" I asked before I could stop myself. "Try and stop me," he said, and walked away, the crowd parting for him just like before. The rest of the night passed in a blur, but one thing stayed clear in my mind: Adrian wasn't just another customer. He was a question I didn't have the answer to yet. And something told me the answer would change more than I was ready for. I didn't know then that tomorrow night would bring him back, but not alone, and that the woman on his arm would turn every quiet feeling I'd tried to ignore into a storm I couldn't outrun. The market feels different during the day. Without the glow of string lights and the smell of grilled meat hanging in the air, it's just a wide open space where vendors slowly prepare for nightfall. The colors seem faded, like the stalls are holding their breath until the sun sets. I was there only because my supplier had called, saying he could deliver fresh chicken early. I'd finished loading the crates into my cooler and was walking through the main street when I saw him. Adrian. He was across the road, standing outside a cafe that looked too polished for this part of town. But he wasn't alone. The woman beside him was striking in a way that made people stare. Long black hair, skin flawless like porcelain, a flowing cream-colored dress that clung in all the right places. She was laughing at something Adrian had just said, her hand resting on his arm like it had always been there. I froze, half hidden behind a stall selling scarves. I told myself to keep walking, but my feet didn't listen. I don't know if he saw me first or if she did, but when his eyes met mine across the street, his smile faltered, just for a second. He straightened, almost as if caught doing something he shouldn't. The woman followed his gaze. Her laughter stopped, and a slow, knowing smile replaced it. She didn't wave. She didn't look away. Instead, she tilted her head slightly, as if memorizing my face. Adrian said something to her I couldn't hear, and she nodded, still looking at me. Then, without another word, they turned and walked into the cafe. I stood there for a moment, my chest tight. It shouldn't have mattered. I wasn't his anything. But the image of her hand on his arm stayed with me all the way back to my stall. That night, he came to the market again. Alone. You didn't mention you knew me outside of here, I said as I arranged skewers on the grill. He leaned against the counter, his expression calm but his eyes a little sharper than usual. You didn't mention you'd be following me around in broad daylight. I wasn't following you, I shot back. I was getting chicken. That earned a small smile. Fair enough. And the woman? I asked before I could stop myself. He paused, just long enough for me to notice. A friend, he said finally. We were having coffee. Just coffee. I tried to make it sound casual, but I could hear the weight in my own voice. His gaze softened. Yes, Mira. Just coffee. I wanted to believe him, but I also remembered the way she had looked at me, not as if I were competition, but as if she already knew the ending to a story I hadn't even started. Adrian stayed late that night, helping me pack up after the crowd thinned. We didn't mention her again, but she lingered in the air between us, like the smell of smoke after the fire's gone out. As he walked me to the edge of the market, he stopped under the streetlight, the same one where we'd first met. I'm still sending that car for you, he said. I almost laughed. Why? Because there's more to my world than you think, he replied. And I want you to see it. I didn't answer, but as I watched him disappear into the night, I knew one thing. Saying no was getting harder. And something told me that if I said yes, I'd be stepping into more than just his world. I'd be stepping into whatever storm that woman's eyes had promised me. The next few days passed in a strange rhythm. Adrian still came to the market, but not every night, and when he did, we talked less about him and more about me. My stall, my family, the strange characters who floated in and out of the market. He seemed almost determined to make me laugh, and some nights he succeeded. But the image of him with that woman lingered in my mind. Vanessa. I didn't know her name yet, but it felt like she had already taken a seat in the space between us. Then one night, as I was closing up, he leaned on the counter, looking unusually serious. Mira, he began, that car I mentioned? It'll be here tomorrow at 7. I stared at him. You're not asking this time? His mouth tilted in a half-smile. No. I'm telling you. It's for a charity gala. You'll be my guest. I nearly laughed. Do you think I own anything that belongs at a gala? You don't need to. I'll take care of it. That sounds dangerously close to buying me clothes, I said, narrowing my eyes. He chuckled. It's called lending, and you'll give them back when you're done, if you want to. The next evening, I stood outside my small apartment, still wondering why I'd said yes. The car that pulled up was black and sleek, the kind of vehicle that seemed designed to make people stare. Inside was a neatly folded garment bag and a small note in Adrian's handwriting. For you. The dress inside was simple but elegant, a deep emerald green that made my skin look warmer. I slipped it on, paired it with my plain black heels, and for the first time in years, put on lipstick. When I stepped into the hotel ballroom, I felt like I'd been dropped into another universe. Chandeliers spilled golden light over tables draped in white linen. The air smelled of champagne and expensive perfume. Conversations floated by in soft, controlled tones. Adrian was waiting near the entrance, dressed in a tailored black suit. His eyes widened just slightly when he saw me, and his smile was slow, almost private. You look, he paused, as if searching for the right word. Perfect. I tried to play it off with a shrug, but my cheeks warmed. He led me through the crowd, introducing me to people whose names I forgot instantly. Their eyes slid over me with polite curiosity, some with genuine warmth, others with the kind of polite smile that said I didn't belong. And then I saw her. Vanessa. She was in a shimmering silver gown, her hair swept into a perfect knot. She walked toward us with the grace of someone who knew the room belonged to her. "Adrian," she said, her voice smooth as silk. "You didn't tell me you were bringing a date." "This is Mira," Adrian replied evenly. "Mira, this is Vanessa." She smiled at me, the same smile she'd worn that day at the cafe, the kind that didn't quite reach her eyes. "A street food vendor," she said lightly, as if it were a novelty. "How refreshing." I forced a smile back. "It's honest work." "Oh, I'm sure it is," she replied, her gaze flicking briefly to Adrian before returning to me. "Enjoy the evening." She drifted away, leaving the faint scent of expensive perfume behind her. I turned to Adrian. "So, that's the friend?" His jaw tightened. "It's complicated." "I'm starting to see that." He didn't try to explain, not there in the middle of the golden-lit room. Instead, he guided me toward the dance floor, his hand warm against mine. And as we moved under the chandeliers, I realized two things. First, that every eye in the room seemed to be watching us. And second, that Vanessa's gaze was the heaviest of them all. The music swelled softly around us, violins weaving a slow rhythm that seemed out of place for the tension pressing between my ribs. Adrian's hand was steady on my back, but my mind kept drifting to the silver shadow moving at the edge of the room. Vanessa. She never stayed in one place for long, gliding from group to group, her laughter carrying just far enough to be heard but not close enough to join. And yet, I always felt her watching. Halfway through the evening, Adrian excused himself to speak with one of the board members hosting the gala. I wandered toward the refreshment table, trying to ignore the sensation of being out of my depth. The champagne in my hand felt like a fragile prop. That's when I heard it. Two women stood nearby, their voices hushed but not hushed enough. "Still can't believe he brought her here," one said, the words dripping with intrigue. "I know," the other replied. "Especially with Vanessa in the room. Everyone thought he and Vanessa were—" She trailed off, but the implication hung heavy in the air. The first woman's tone sharpened. "And now he shows up with a street vendor? It's almost like he's trying to make her jealous." I turned away, the words pressing into me like pins. My first instinct was to walk straight out of that ballroom and back into the night where the only judgment I faced was from customers deciding between chicken and beef. But before I could move, Adrian appeared at my side again, smiling as if nothing was wrong. "You okay?" "Fine," I said, forcing a neutral tone. "Just listening." His eyes narrowed slightly, like he could sense the truth behind my answer. "Come with me." He led me out of the main room and into a quieter hallway lined with tall windows. The city lights glittered below, the streets a blur of gold and white. "I know this isn't your world," he said quietly, his gaze searching mine. "And I know people talk. But I brought you here because I wanted you here. Not to make a statement. Not to use you. Because I like you, Mira. It should have been enough. Maybe for someone else, it would have been. But the whispers were still in my ears, tangled with the image of Vanessa's poised smile. "Do you and she have history?" I asked finally. "Yes," he admitted, his voice low. "But that's over. It's been over for a long time." I wanted to believe him, and maybe part of me already did. But another part, the one that had been burned before, warned me to keep my distance. Before I could answer, the sound of heels clicked against the marble floor. We both turned. Vanessa stood at the end of the hall, a glass of champagne in her hand and that same slow smile curling her lips. "Am I interrupting?" she asked, her voice a mix of sweetness and challenge. Adrian didn't move. "No, we were just leaving." Her gaze flicked to me, lingering a beat too long. "Good. Wouldn't want to keep you from whatever this is." The air between the three of us was tight enough to snap. Adrian took my hand, leading me past her without another word, but as we passed, I felt Vanessa's eyes on me, like she was daring me to ask the question I wasn't ready to hear the answer to. That night, when the gala ended and Adrian's car pulled up to take me home, I still hadn't asked it. But I knew the silence wouldn't last forever. Because whatever lay between Adrian and Vanessa wasn't finished. And the moment it resurfaced, it would pull me right into the center. 2 nights after the gala, I was back at my stall, the familiar rhythm of skewers and smoke wrapping around me like a comfort I hadn't realized I'd missed. The market was busy, the hum of voices and sizzling grills pushing the memory of that glittering ballroom to the edges of my mind. At least, until I saw her. Vanessa. She didn't belong here any more than a swan belonged in a muddy pond. But there she was, heels clicking against the uneven pavement, her silver clutch tucked under one arm. Heads turned as she walked down the aisle, not because they recognized her, but because everything about her was deliberate. She stopped in front of my stall like she'd been here 1,000 times. "Mira, isn't it?" she asked, her voice smooth as silk. "Yes," I said cautiously. "I thought I'd see what all the fuss was about." Her eyes scanned my stall, the grill, the trays of skewers, not in admiration, but in quiet assessment, like she was taking inventory. "What can I get you?" I asked, keeping my tone even. She smiled faintly. "Oh, I'm not here to eat." I waited. She took a step closer, lowering her voice so only I could hear. "You seem like a smart woman, Mira. So I'll give you a piece of advice. Adrian has a habit of collecting people. He'll make you feel like you're the only one, until you realize you're just part of his collection." The heat from the grill suddenly felt sharper against my skin. "And you'd know that because?" Her smile didn't falter. "Because I was part of it once." I met her gaze, refusing to flinch. "Maybe you just didn't matter to him the way you thought you did." For the first time, her expression hardened, just slightly. But it was gone as quickly as it came. "Be careful," she said softly. "Men like Adrian always have more secrets than they show. And when you find out what they are, it's usually too late." Before I could reply, she turned and walked away, her perfume lingering in the air like a final word. The rest of the night, I went through the motions, flipping skewers, handing out plates, making change, but her words looped in my mind. I told myself they were meant to get under my skin, to push me away from Adrian. And maybe that was exactly why I shouldn't listen. But the thing about warnings is, once you've heard them, you can't unhear them. And later, when Adrian showed up at my stall, smiling like nothing had happened, I found myself studying his face differently, searching for the cracks I hadn't seen before. He noticed. "What?" he asked lightly. "Nothing," I said. But it wasn't nothing. It was the first seed of doubt. And Vanessa had planted it perfectly. The market was quieter that night, the kind of slow evening where the air felt heavy and the customers came in small waves. I had just finished serving a group of teenagers when Adrian appeared at the far end of the aisle, hands in his pockets, watching me with that faint smile he always wore. "Busy?" he asked when he reached the stall. "Not really," I replied. "It's one of those nights." "Good," he said. "Close early. Come for a walk with me." I hesitated. My first instinct was to tell him I couldn't, that I had too much to clean, too many things to pack, but something in his voice made me pause. I covered the grill, told my assistant to finish the last orders, and stepped out into the cool night air with him. We walked without speaking for a while, past the glowing market stalls, past the shuttered shops, until we reached a quiet street lined with old lampposts. The light pooled at our feet in soft circles. "I know Vanessa came to see you," he said suddenly. I glanced at him sharply. "How do you?" "She mentioned it." I stopped walking. "She told me you collect people, that you make them feel special until they realize they're just another piece in your life." Was she lying? He looked at me, really looked, like he was weighing the exact words he wanted to use. She's not lying about how she feels. But feelings and truth aren't always the same thing. I folded my arms. Then tell me the truth. He took a slow breath. Vanessa and I were engaged once. It was arranged in a way. My family wanted it for business reasons. I went along with it because I didn't care enough to fight it. Until I met you. The words hit me like a warm rush and a cold slap all at once. You were engaged to her, I said, my voice flat. Yes, but it ended long before you and I met. Vanessa doesn't see it that way, though. She thinks I'm straying from a path I was meant to stay on. I shook my head. This isn't just some casual thing for her, Adrian. She's not going to let it go. His eyes softened, and for a moment, he looked almost tired. I don't care what she lets go of. I care about you. We stopped under one of the old lampposts, the golden light spilling across his face. There was no one else around, just the sound of distant traffic and the faint rustle of leaves. He stepped closer, his hand brushing mine. Mira, he said quietly, I've never met anyone who made me want to change the way you do. You make me want to step out of the life I've been living and into something real. My breath caught. For a moment, the world narrowed to the space between us. And then he leaned in and kissed me. It was slow, unhurried, but it carried something deeper. A promise, maybe, or a plea. When we finally pulled apart, I felt both lighter and more unsettled. Because somewhere behind us, at the far end of the street, I thought I saw a shadow move. A tall, slender figure, standing just beyond the circle of lamplight. Watching. And even before my eyes adjusted, I knew who it was. Vanessa. The next morning, I woke to my phone buzzing on the nightstand. At first, I thought it was just another supplier message or a friend sending a meme. But the second I saw Lila's name, and the 3 missed calls before it, I knew something was wrong. Answer now, her text read. I called her back, still half asleep. What's going on? Check your messages, she said without preamble. Right now. When I opened my chat with her, the first thing I saw was a photo. It looked like it had been taken at some fancy event, the kind where the champagne was poured by men in white gloves. Adrian was in the frame, in a sharp black suit, standing close to Vanessa. Too close. His hand rested lightly on her back, and she was leaning toward him, smiling like they were sharing a private joke. The caption from some gossip account read, Adrian Royce and Vanessa Clark seen together again at the Westgate charity auction last night. I stared at it, my chest tightening. This was last night? Yes, Lila said. While you were here in the market, flipping satay, he was… what? On a date. It's not a date, I said automatically, but the words felt weak. Mira, I'm just saying. I have to go, I cut in, ending the call. I sat there for a while, staring at the screen. Maybe it was nothing. Maybe it was business, like he'd said before. But the photo looked nothing like business. It looked like 2 people who still belonged in the same world. By evening, I decided I wasn't going to wait for him to come to me. I needed to hear it from him, in person. When Adrian arrived at the stall, his smile was as easy as always. But the second he saw my face, it faded. What happened? He asked. I didn't waste time. I saw the picture. His jaw tensed, just barely. It's not what it looks like. That's exactly what people say when it's exactly what it looks like. Mira, he stopped, glancing around at the customers nearby, then leaned in, lowering his voice. It was a charity event. I was invited weeks ago, long before I knew you'd close early last night. Vanessa was there. She likes to make sure the cameras catch her with me. And you let her? His eyes locked onto mine. Do you really think I care about those pictures? Or do you think maybe I don't give a damn what the internet says, because I know what's real? I wanted to believe him. But Vanessa's warning still echoed in my head, mingling with the whispers I'd overheard at the gala. "Adrian, I'm not sure what's real anymore," I said quietly. His expression softened, but there was something else there too. Frustration, maybe, or fear that I was slipping away. "Then let me prove it to you." "How?" I asked. "Come with me tomorrow," he said. "There's something I want you to see. And once you do, maybe you'll stop wondering where I stand." I hesitated, my instincts warring inside me. "Please," he added, and the quiet weight in his voice made it harder to say no. I didn't give him an answer right then, but as he left, I knew I'd go. Because whatever tomorrow brought, I needed the truth, even if it wasn't the one I wanted to hear. The next afternoon, a sleek black car pulled up in front of my building. I climbed in, my stomach tight with a mix of nerves and anticipation. Adrian sat beside me, dressed casually for once, a crisp white shirt, sleeves rolled up, and no tie in sight. We drove in silence for nearly an hour, the city fading into open roads, the noise replaced by the steady hum of the engine. Eventually, the air shifted, saltier, cooler. The sea appeared on the horizon, blue and endless. The car turned onto a narrow lane lined with palm trees, ending at a pair of tall wrought iron gates. They opened without us stopping. Beyond them was a sprawling white villa perched above the water, its windows glinting in the sun. "This is yours?" I asked as we stepped out. "Yes," he said simply. "Come on." Inside, the house was quiet, the kind of quiet that felt deliberate. Adrian led me through a wide hallway to a set of glass doors opening onto a terrace. The view was breathtaking, waves crashing against the rocks below, the scent of salt heavy in the breeze. "This place," he said, resting his hands on the railing, "is where I come when I need to think. It's also where I made the biggest mistake of my life." I stayed silent, letting him continue. "Vanessa and I were supposed to get married here. The engagement party was planned, the guests invited. But a week before the date, I ended it. I realized I didn't love her. I never had. And I wasn't going to trap both of us in something fake." I turned toward him, and she didn't take it well. He gave a humorless laugh. "That's an understatement. Her family lost a major deal because of it. She's made it her personal mission to remind me, and everyone else, that walking away was a mistake." "And the picture?" "She knows exactly what she's doing," he said. "If she can't have me, she'll make sure no one else wants me either. Especially someone who isn't from our world." There it was, the thing I hadn't wanted to admit. "You mean someone like me?" His gaze snapped to mine. "I mean someone who's real. Who doesn't care about my money or my name. Mira, Vanessa can play her games all she wants. I'm not going back to her. I want you." The words were so direct, so certain, they left me unsteady. But before I could respond, movement caught my eye at the edge of the terrace. A figure stood near the garden path, just beyond the railing. "Vanessa!" Her silver dress shimmered in the sunlight as she slowly approached, a faint smile on her lips. "I thought you might bring her here," she said, her voice carrying over the wind. "What better place to tell your little stories?" "Vanessa, leave," Adrian said sharply. She ignored him, her eyes fixed on me. "You really think he's told you everything, Mira? You think you're the first girl he's brought here to make promises to?" My chest tightened. "What are you talking about?" She stepped closer, her smile sharpening. "Ask him about the last woman. The one before me." Adrian's jaw clenched. "Don't." But now the question was burning in my throat, and I wasn't sure I could stop it. The air between the three of us felt like it could splinter. The crash of waves below only made the silence heavier. I turned to Adrian, my voice low but sharp. "What is she talking about?" He held my gaze for a long moment, like he was deciding whether to tell me or let me walk away without knowing. Then, finally, he exhaled. "Before Vanessa," he said slowly, "there was someone else. Her name was Elise. We met years ago, before my business really took off. She was different. She didn't care about my money. At least, that's what I thought." Vanessa let out a soft, mocking laugh. "Oh, she cared. She just hid it better." Adrian's jaw tightened. We got serious quickly. I thought she was the one. I even brought her here, to this house. But a month later, I found out she'd been selling stories about me to the press. About my family, my finances, everything. She vanished before I could confront her. The fallout nearly ruined me. I felt my chest sink. So Vanessa thinks I'm the same. Vanessa's eyes glinted. "Not just me. A lot of people will. And when he's done with you, Mira, you'll see why." "That's enough," Adrian snapped, stepping between us. "You came here to poison her against me. I won't let you." I looked between them, his rigid stance, her perfectly composed smirk, and realized this was my moment. I could walk away now, avoid being another name in a story whispered about in expensive rooms. Or I could take the risk. "Mira," Adrian said, his voice softer now, almost pleading. "I've made mistakes, but I'm not making one with you. I need you to believe me." I thought about the way he'd shown up at my stall night after night, the way he told me about his family when he didn't have to, the way his eyes looked when he said my name like it meant something. But I also thought about the whispers, the photographs, and the way the world he lived in seemed designed to chew people like me up and spit us out. Vanessa watched me like a predator waiting for a choice to be made. I took a deep breath. "Adrian, I don't know if I can live in your world, but I do know I want to find out if what you're saying is real." Vanessa's smile faltered, just for a fraction of a second. Adrian's shoulders eased, though his eyes stayed locked on mine, as if making sure I wasn't about to change my mind. "Then we do it together," he said firmly. The wind off the sea curled around us, carrying the scent of salt and something else. Possibility. Vanessa turned and walked away, her heels clicking against the stone until the sound faded. Adrian reached for my hand. I let him take it. Maybe I was stepping into a storm, but for the first time, I wanted to see where it would take me. Weeks passed, and the sharp edges of that day at the villa softened into something else. Not quite peace, but a cautious rhythm. Adrian kept his word, showing up not just with promises, but with presence. He learned the names of my regular customers, stood behind the stall when I was busy, and never once asked me to change who I was. Vanessa's shadow lingered at the edges, her name occasionally appearing in whispers or headlines. But she never confronted me again. Maybe she was waiting for me to fail, or maybe she realized I wouldn't leave as easily as she hoped. One late evening, we stood together at the terrace of the villa, the sea stretching endlessly before us. Adrian's arm was warm around my shoulders, and for the first time, I didn't feel like an outsider in his world. "I still don't know where this ends," I said quietly. He looked at me, a small smile in his eyes. "Then we just keep walking until we find out." The waves below roared against the rocks, as if daring us to take that step. And I knew I would, not because I trusted his world, but because I trusted what we were building inside it.